What is up, YouTube? My name is James and I'm bringing you guys a brand new video here today. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys a video on how to edit moody portraits part 2. So, my last video that I did about a year ago now, yeah, probably a year ago. Wow, that's wild, that's so long ago. The first moody portraits tutorial I did so well, outstanding. Let me close this window real quick. Alright, now that there's no noise interfering, let me actually record this video. So, the video did so well. I think it's my second to highest most viewed video with around 75 to 80,000 views. That's incredible. But this is just a start, guys. I'm going to be posting a lot more on my channel. I know I keep saying this, and it's really repetitive at this point. But lately, I've just been so busy with so much work that I've just gotten around to me making a new preset pack and a new tutorial for this preset pack and for this just style editing. Moody Portraits Part 2. I'm super excited to bring this to you guys. Okay, so how this tutorial is going to be going and how a lot of mine are going to be going from now on is usually, well, in the past, what I usually used to do is I used to have the settings memorized and I would go in and edit it to the certain settings that I have and show you guys that way. Have a set way to go through it and give you guys an exact kind of way. But from now on, with a lot of my videos, not all of them, but a lot of them, I'm going to be now going in with a fresh mind and no set way of how I want to edit a certain photo. So for example, with the first photo we're going to be doing, I'm going to go straight in and I'm going to go through each setting as if I have no set plan. And I think this is the best way to go because then you guys can really see my mindset as I'm editing a certain photo and how I go through things as if it was legitimately my first time ever looking at this photo and editing it. And then at the end I'm going to be showing you guys some presets that work really well for different kinds of photos, and you guys can also go check that preset pack out in the description below. It's on my sell-fi page. 5 presets for only $10. Super good presets, super good for all kinds of photos. I think if you guys use these presets, you guys can really transform your photos into amazing edits and just make some beautiful images. Anyway guys, without further ado, let's get straight in this tutorial. Okay guys, here we are, and we have the 5 photos that I actually used for the base models of my preset pack. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be choosing 2 of these photos, and with 2 of those photos, we're going to be going through full edits of how I would process them in Lightroom and how we can get the most moody edit as possible. And then we're going to be, at the end, we're going to apply the preset pack to each of the photos and see how it works and see what works and what doesn't. Okay guys, so here are the 5 photos right here. We have one of my friend Grisha. This is a shoot back in September of 2017. This is actually the black and white photo. This is the only black and white photo preset in the pack. We have this one right here, very yellowish green tones, very bright highlights all over the place. This one's very dark and moody, and is actually used for the first tutorial that I did back in the day, Moody Portraits, the original. This one as well. This one's a more urban edit with my friend Blada. This is back in last August. This always bothered me. This little wallet in the pocket. I've learned since then to have the models take things out of their pockets, but oh well, still a good photo. And then we have this one of my friend Emily in some greenery, some shrubbery in Central Park. Really awesome. Again, this is back in November. I believe we're going to be editing this photo here and this photo here. I think they'll give you the most diversified way of explaining this tutorial to you guys. So without any hesitation, let's get straight into this. The first photo right here. Let me maximize this real quick. There we go. Get that full screen. So, right here, guys. First thing we're going to go straight into doing is messing with the contrast, highlight, shadows, whites, and blacks, and then going back up to the exposure afterwards. So, right off the bat, add some contrast to this. We're going to be adding some highlight right off the bat, some shadows, some whites, and some blacks. Get as much detail as possible out of that as possible. Next, we're going to lower the clarity a little bit. I like the clarity low on this one. Makes her skin look softer and everything else look more soft and more of a dream state, more glowy. And then I believe I'm going to just increase the temperature just a little bit to make it a little more yellowish. Get more of those yellow tones out there. So, next thing I want to do is mess with the tone curve. But the exposure looks good right now. I don't want to mess with that yet. We may touch it after the tone curve, but not yet with the exposure. So, with the exposure, this is going to be a bit of a harsh tone curve here. We're going to make our first point right here, our second point right here, and our third point up here. Now, maybe thinking like this is kind of wild, James, but you'll see what I mean. You'll see what happens. I think we're going to bring this up a bit to around plus 15. I think that looks good. We're going to see how the exposure looks later when we affect our HSL. First things first, though, we're going to go straight into here and start messing with our colors. We're going to make our greens more yellowish, just like that. Get those yellows to be more orange, and that's good for over there. My goal is to really make all these greens look more yellow, essentially, and desaturate all the cool colors in the photo. So now here we're in our saturation section of our HSL. We're just going to lower all of this. Just a little bit less, actually. Just more like over here. I still want to see the colors, but I don't want to see them that much. Next thing is, which is one of the most important part of the photos, is we're going to increase the luminance, which is simply the brightness of each color in the photo. We're going to bring that shit super high. Really get that emphasis on brightening all those colors. And now look at that. Now that shit's really blown out. Now with the exposure, because we increased the luminances, the exposures are a little out of whack. They're a little wackier now. So I think I want to just make it more yellow, more green. Keep like right here, I think. But now I want to go back to our exposures and stuff like that, and I want to just maybe decrease the highlights a little bit. Let's see how the whites look there. Maybe look a little better over here. I think the whites look good here. I think that's good. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our split toning. Now this is very important. Real quick though, before we do that, is enable profile corrections and remove chromatic aberration. Do that in the beginning. Make sure you do it in the beginning. Always do that in the beginning. It helps remove distortion and vignetting from the lens. So here. Now what we're going to be doing with our highlights and shadows is we're going to be adding blue highlights and red shadows. So essentially we're going to be putting our highlights in the blue area over here and really getting them up there. Really get those blue highlights. And now we're going to add some really nice red shadows. Now look at that. Now that's like some editorial fashion shit you see on like the cover of a magazine, you know, or on like one of those one-page ads and stuff. That's some really nice shadows and highlights. That combination works really well for me. I may make a whole video soon, now that I actually have the idea, to actually just make a whole video of split tone combinations and just show you guys all the different combinations that I use and that can be used when it comes to the split toning section. So right after that, next thing we're going to do is obviously have our lens corrections already enabled. We're going to go to our effects, to our highlight priority vignetting, and we're just going to decrease it a little bit, just like that. And then right then and there we can choose, maybe, you know, if you want to add a bit of grain, you know, you can do that. Or you can add no grain, which I'm going to choose because I want to see more of a soft, clean photo, very smooth. And then we're going to go back to our exposure and just make any last second adjustments with the adjustment brush tool and see if we see anything that needs to be adjusted. It's maybe a little too bright. Like maybe right here, maybe it's just a little bit too bright. We just want a little darken it a little bit. So just take the highlights and just decrease a little bit. Same thing right here. We're just going to take the same brush, go right there. Maybe in the shirt as well. Let's see how that looks. Let's turn that off. I think we're going to actually take it back on the shirt. I like the shirt very bright and a little bit overexposed. Yeah, everything else looks really good, honestly. I like everything else. I like how it looks. And I think we're going to... Oh, actually, you know what we can do, guys? One thing we can actually do is add a radial filter. Like just like this. Coming in from the side. We're going to invert it so only what's inside is affected. We're just going to up our exposure just a little bit. Now you see just like that. Now she's brighter and this whole thing is brighter. It looks like a little bit more like a little ray of sun is coming inwards. Actually, I just want to be a little bit less. Just a little bit less. More of in the shadow. No, sorry, not less in the shadows. Decrease the shadows and more in the highlights. And the exposure itself.
So decrease the shadows, highlight just a little bit more, and there we go. I think that looks a lot better. Honestly, I don't even know how I feel about this, honestly. It could be it's a hit or miss. Honestly, I think it's a miss right now. I think I'm gonna keep it off. Just turn the radial filters off, just like that, and then we're done. Now we're done. Now we can go back and see how it see the before. And just like that, bam, that's the before. This is the after. So essentially, we really just transformed this photo completely to a completely different feel and all that. I think it looks absolutely amazing. So the reason why I'm not using the shortcut key to go back and look at the before is because if I look at the before, it gives me the edited version because it's a copy. It's a virtual copy of the edited version. So that's why I'm not doing that, by the way. And so now that this photo is done, we're going to go to our next photo and get straight onto that. So with this one, I'm going for a slightly similar feel in the sense that I'm making all of this yellowish orange and keeping her very, very bright and very, very like just perfect exposure and all that. So let's get straight into this here. I think our temperature is good. I'm going to keep the temperature and tint exactly the way it is. I think it's perfect for what I want in this photo. It's a little warm, and that's why I like it. If it was properly exposed, it would be more of like right here. But 50 to 100 is perfect. We go right in and up the contrast a little bit. We'll come right in and up the highlights as well. The shadows to around 50, highlights around right there, and our blacks as well. Maybe decrease the highlights just a little bit. Next thing we're going to do is make it a little softer. -5 looks good. We'll add a little bit of vibrance. Actually, sorry, decrease a little bit of vibrance. Maybe a little less, just -4. So essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get as much detail of the photo in here for when I crush it in the tone curve. Because the tone curve is always my most important step in nearly every photo. The tone curve and split toning are usually my most important steps. So, right now, we're going to go into this tone curve, and we're going to see what we got here. So I think we're going to go like right here, right there, bring it down like right here, and then up it right there. That's too much tone curve. That's too much of a harsh tone curve. Right there, I think that's good. We're going to lower the highlights just a little bit. Or maybe increase the highlights, decrease the whites a little bit. Decrease the blacks, I think. I think I want to just adjust the first point, bring it up a little higher. I think that's exactly where we want it. That's like a really, really good balance between too dark and too light. I think that's exactly where I want it. So next is the hue. We're going to bring out greens, more yellow, and our yellows a little bit more orange, just a little bit, because we bring out too orange, and that's just not good. So just a little bit more orange, like that, -28. That's good. That's exactly how I want it. Next thing I want to do is I want to just decrease all of these just by a little bit. These we can actually keep all these purples. The purples are good. Let's see what happens if we increase those actually. Now I don't see any direct effects with even changing the purples or magentas at all. Next thing is our red luminance. We're just going to increase that just a little bit, get a little more brightness out of her hair. Now, if I was going to take this into Photoshop, I can do a lot of stuff with her hair as well, her face, retouch it, all that stuff, dodge and burn, all that stuff. But obviously, this is just more of a Lightroom tutorial, so we're going to just make our face just slightly brighter. We're going to increase the yellow luminance because look at how much difference that makes from just normal to bam, boom, bam. Luminances are awesome. Always, my best advice is always mess with every slider. See what everything does all the time until you know exactly what everything does all the time, and then you don't have to go do that. But always mess with all the sliders. So next thing you're going to want to do is mess with the greens. I think the greens I'm going to keep up as well. That looks good. Blues, no. Purples, yeah, I'll keep that up there. Made a slight difference. And then magenta's nothing. Next thing is the split toning. And so split toning, I'm going to increase the red in the highlights to around 5%. Very, very minimal. And next thing we're going to do is increase the shadows to around 5% as well. And now I get that red highlight blue shadow look. It's probably my most prominent and most used combination between the highlights and shadows and split toning. I use that combination very, very often. Very often. Again, we forgot to do profile corrections. Let's do that real quick. See that difference it makes with the distortion? It's very, very slight, but it does indeed help. Every little thing always helps. Little thing that you do will come together in the end and help form the big picture, pun intended. Next thing we're going to do is add the vignetting. Just increase that and make it more moody. Vignetting always helps increase the moodiness of your photos. If you want to make your photos more moody, add a little bit of vignetting. That really helps make it darker on the edges and helps really make the subject in focus stand out more. Next thing we're going to do is let's see what the dehaze slider does a little bit. Let's see if we bring that up. I don't want that up. Just keep it around 5. That looks fine. And we're done, guys. If you wanted to do like a little bit of brushing, you can maybe like if you want to decrease the blacks of the shadows of these or in the whites as well of all the background, you can do that. Maybe you want to do something like over here with all of what she's wearing, the little blanket and stuff like that, which I really like a lot. Maybe you want to decrease the blacks, up the shadows, and the whites as well. If you want to note, also guys, never adjust the blacks in the adjustment brush. It really fucks you up. Excuse my language. I'm trying to fix that shit. Sorry, decrease the shadows a little bit, up the exposure, like that, and now you have a little bit more of like a contrasted bright look with your blankets. I think it looks pretty good actually. I'm gonna keep that. That actually looks really good. Helps really put more like brightness and emphasis on her. And I actually really like that a lot. I'm actually not even kidding. I didn't think that would work well, but it did. And yeah, so that's this photo. It's completely done, and we're finished. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna look at the edited versions of all these photos. So right now, actually go back to develop real quick. We're gonna look at the before and after when it comes to the original version. So right here, that's the original, and now that's the edited. And if you ask me, that's insane. That's crazy. Look at this. Like that's so wild to me. That's so wild. It's such a big difference. And now if we actually hit the real before button, we can actually see the other edited version. That's the other edited version. I did in fact make things more orange, and I actually like that a lot. I'm actually gonna do that right now. I think the orange makes it look a little bit better. Now we're really getting there. See how this one's more bright? I'm more knowledgeable now to edit this photo, and that's why I made it more white. But honestly, it's still preference. You can still want that less highlighted version. If you want to just do that, you can just decrease the whites like this to around like right here, and there you go. You kind of got that look more, except the blankets are still a bit brighter as well. But there you go. You got that as well. Now I think they're both great photos. I personally like this one a little better. I think it looks a little better. It just works more with that moody feel. But this one works as well too. You can just decrease the whites right here, and really then just turn the brush off for the blankets, or honestly just decrease it a little bit. You don't, it doesn't have to be that bright. Just like that or so. And now boom. Very, very similar photos. This one's still a little bit more orange. Oh, sorry, this one's a little more orange. This is the newest one. This is the before, it's a little more orangish, which I actually like a lot. But and this one's still a little more green. But honestly, they're both great photos, and I really like them both a lot. Next thing here is let's check out the before and after between the previously edited version and this is the one we got. Obviously, I think this one's a lot better. I think when it comes to this one, I think the shadows are more dirty on her face. It's just more like makes her face doesn't look not as good. And this one's more clean and soft. And I want to see what I did in terms of brushing. Did I do any brushing with this? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got to go back to the edited versions and look at it there. Oh, that's the black and white edited. Let's look at this real quick. Let's see what we got here. None of that. Let's cheat brushes. Do we have any brushes? Yes, we do. So for this one, what I did is I actually upped the exposure on her face. And so what that did is that just made her look a lot better, essentially. and I think this edit is better as well. I was better at these edits a while. I used to be better at these edits than I am now, so that's probably why this one looks better than before. But I still think both edits are fairly good. Let's go through the after with the edits, with the presets that they're on. So this is the first one with Gregory. This is the black and white preset. This is the second preset that I used. This is the third preset, the fourth one, and the fifth one. These are all of them edited. This is the classic right here. But yeah, let's go straight into develop module again, and go to our unedited and check out these presets and see how they actually work. So the first one I use is the black and white preset. That's right here. It's gonna apply just like that, and wow, just like right then and there. This can be used on any photo with really any lighting, as long as the subject's bright. It's really gonna add this really awesome dark contrasted look to your photos. That stuff you see in magazines and stuff like that. Really great for fashion and portraits and all stuff like that outside. And I think it just looks absolutely incredible. I just really love this. Really just love this preset. The second one, we're gonna create a virtual copy just like this, and we're gonna reset this one and apply our second preset, which is called the look of life. These names all came from just like what I was thinking about at the time. So this is the second one, as you see. You gotta reset, and then bam, just like that. Beautiful preset. Really focuses on just the the highlights and the softness of all her clothes and the surroundings and her face and all that. I think it's really awesome. This next one is called the dream state, and it's just like this. Boom, just like that. All I would do here is just make it a little more warmer. And bam, look at that. That's awesome. Also, the key here, I don't add the vignetting in my in the presets, because I feel like that's something you need to do on your own, depending on how your lens corrections and all that stuff like that. So right there, bam. Now that shit's a lot more moody, you know? Now, next one is called the NYC side streets. It's more of an urban look, but it's still very moody in my opinion. This is it right here. Bam, just like that. Look at the way those blacks, just like that shadow, like how dark that is around him, and it really emphasizes him in this like little doorway right here to increase that vignetting. Bam, now we're talking here. That's awesome. Next thing right here is FZ right here. We're gonna create a virtual copy, and we'll see how that applies. And then this one's called the fall, but not actually, because you can do this at any time of the season, and it looks like fall because it's all yellow, and it's awesome. I think that's just awesome. The way that the leaves are just different colors, and it just looks really great. It just looks, so moody, such mood, really, such mood. Anyway, guys, that's the preset pack right there. If you guys really want it, it's only $10 for 5 presets. Amazing deal. Definitely go check it out, guys. Link is in the description below. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I post pictures daily on Instagram. They're pretty awesome. If you haven't seen them yet, go check it out. And be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And lastly, guys, my name's James. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.